Void Stranger is a Sokoban game with no undo button, limited lives you must work to get, and it has a frustrating finality to all of your actions. This game will never reach out to you, frustrate you with its puzzles, and force you to stew in the consequences of your actions. After 2 hours of playing it, I was already complaining to friends that I don't think I can keep going with this. Void Stranger is also one of the most compelling games I've played this year, and I can't stop thinking about it, to the point I'm having dreams about it. You see this list? This is my top 100 favorite games that I update every March and August, and I'm currently relieved that I have an entire 5 months to think about Void Stranger before I have to decide where it goes, because it is going on this list, and I'm concerned just how high it will place. So what the heck happened? Let's go over the basics. Your name is Gray, you jump into a weird pit, get a strange rod, and something is wrong. You can pick up tiles with this rod and place them down where no tile already exists. You can't turn without moving, nothing moves until you take an action, and moving into an existing object will cause you to punch it and advance time 1 turn. You have no lives, but you find locust idols, which, upon death, are consumed to reset the room. If you fall into the void with no locust idols, that's it. You've fallen. There are multiple mechanics that will be introduced to you as time goes on, and as they combine, the puzzles can get rather complicated. Or frustrating. Or infuriating. As you continue on, you'll find trees, which designates a safe space where you can take a rest. If you do take this rest, the game will close. Upon reopening it, you will have a dream of your past. This is the main method you slowly learn why Gray is here and what her motivations are. Should you play this game, I implore you to do this every time you encounter this tree. Void Stranger was created by System Erasure, which I'm sure most are familiar with for their work on Zero Ranger, one of the best shmups I've ever played. Honestly, it's the game that planted the seed in my head which led to me getting into the genre. If you've played Zero Ranger and you liked the things it did, not just as a shmup, but in its storytelling, then go ahead and purchase Void Stranger and dive in. If you haven't played Zero Ranger, first off, congratulations! You now have 2 games I'm recommending to you. And second, I'm basically saying that this game is more than it seems. Void Stranger isn't just a Sokoban game, it's an exploration game. You're not just playing Sokoban levels, you're exploring the world these floors exist in. When I first played this, I felt an immense anxiety when I realized I had limited failures and no way to undo actions. Sure, I'm someone who thinks it's nonsense to say, lives that continues are an archaic mechanic and a failure of game design. And I enjoy games that have a punishing challenge, but Sokoban levels? I felt nothing but dread that I would have to resolve so many puzzles if I were to game over. I already wasn't completely sold on this genre, but I loved Zero Ranger to tears, so I was willing to keep going. After about 2 hours of planning every room before I even made my first action, I forgot that you can't turn without moving, and moving into something causes you to punch it. And after I accidentally punched an NPC I was trying to talk to, they no longer would speak to me and there was no way to reset or undo this action. I became so frustrated I put the game down, complained to some friends, and pouted about it for a couple of days. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. The look of this game, its immersive music, what I knew about Zero Ranger, the intrigue of what this place was, who Gray was, and where the story would go. To me, this game felt like an art piece of how much hell are you willing to go through with no guarantee you'll be satisfied in the end. This thought lingered in my mind for a few nights, haunted me, and after talking to a few friends about it, I decided I wasn't finished. I had to go back. This video is me telling you how glad I am that I did. There's an important mindset you need to have going into this game. You must accept the consequences of your actions. That might sound a little trite, but I really mean it with this one. If you're going to run out of lives, then just run out of lives. If you accidentally punch an NPC, then you just gotta move on. In fact, you can't get this game's full experience if you don't fail. This is your journey to take, your descent into the void. The game is punishing, and that's the point. Now, you might be against games that punish the player as a thematic choice, and that's absolutely fine. But it is integral to this game, its themes, the text and theology that's inspired it, and what it's setting out to do. Void Stranger isn't going to be for everyone, and that's okay. But me? Oh, this game is absolutely for me. This game is for me in a way I couldn't have predicted. This is where it gets really difficult to talk about the game further. The eureka moment I had 4 hours in that made this game dig its hooks into me? Sorry, that's a spoiler. The moment I became emotionally entangled in the story of this game? Sorry, spoiler. When the overarching themes really became apparent and I knew I loved this game? Oh, big spoiler. The thing that made me physically pog and solidified that I wouldn't be able to shut up about this game? I can't show you a single frame of that. But I can tell you this. I love this game. I love it so much that I've been spending the past week thinking about how I could possibly put it into words, despite needing to tell anyone who's willing to listen how great I think it is. I know I'm gushing and overhyping Void Stranger, but I had a real, true experience playing this game. One that meant something to me. Will you have that? I have no clue. I get overly emotional about video games. That's just how I am. But in the US, this game is only $12 on Steam and itch.io. So, listen. If I've piqued your interest at all, go check it out. Take a look at it. Personally, I think this game is beautiful. Gorgeous. It looks and sounds like it was made for me specifically. If you feel even a hint of that, then go ahead, give it a shot. If it gets too difficult at some points or too frustrating, look, I asked a friend for hints and help in quite a few places throughout this game, and still had this amazing experience. If anything, talking to others about it and sharing what we found only added to the experience. So don't be afraid to ask someone for help if you're truly stuck. Just be careful if you search on YouTube or Google for help. You're likely to get a shotgun blast of unrelated spoilers to your face, even in thumbnails. It's just the nature of this game structure. One last thing. System Erasure, if by some odd chance you happen to be watching this, I just have one more thing to say. I can hear you, and I'm so glad I listened.